Swear to God, I gotta get my shit together. Young nigga known around these parts, I can pop my shit wherever. I'm walking with God in these DRs, used to dance with the devil. Young nigga, it takes some sacrifice to make it to this level. Yeah, I put in that work, nigga, I ain't cry about it.
What's good, YouTube? We back with another video, and today we are reacting to, well, we're gonna watch a video. The name of the video is Every Crazy Avengers Doomsday Theory Explained in 14 Minutes. So by the looks of this, I see the first one that says Tony Stark was adopted. Do I think that's gonna be explained in the movie? Probably not. Probably so. You never know. Bars. Don DeMarco. Sorry. And it's by, let's get a man his props for making this video. Flop guy. Let's drop the like. Let's get into the video, and I love y'all.
Tony Stark was adopted. One Avengers Doomsday theory that refuses to die is the idea that Tony Stark was never Howard Stark's biological son.
I mean, that's kind of, I mean, in the game, he was asking his father when was she due, his mom was due, and I guess the time didn't match up because I guess Tony was born a little later, or I don't know. So that could be a reason. I mean, you never know.
Son. And oddly enough, the MCU itself may have planted the seed in Avengers Endgame. When Tony and Steve travel back to the 1970s, Tony clearly inputs July 4th, 1970 into the time-space GPS. But here's the problem. Tony Stark's official birth date is May 29, 1970. So why is Howard Stark excitedly talking about his wife being pregnant when Tony should already be born? Tony even looks visibly confused during the scene. He brushes it off with sarcasm, but his expression says otherwise, like something doesn't quite add up. Now here's where the comics come in. In Marvel's Earth 6-1.
I ain't want to be like a nerd about it because, you know, I like to do this. I like to, like, I don't know, it's kind of weird because I know people hate it when you be like, in the comics, he was, yeah, I get it because I hate it too. Like, it was itching. So basically what I was going to say before, you know, he brought this up, Tony is adopted in the comics. He got a brother named, I don't know the brother name. So let him explain it.
In 6 comics, Tony Stark is adopted. Howard Stark's biological son, Edward Stark, dies young, and Tony is later adopted by Howard and Maria Stark. The MCU has never confirmed this, so the theory goes like this. What if the baby Howard was expecting in 1970 wasn't Tony at all? What if the child meant to be born into the Stark family was Victor Von Doom, and circumstances changed?
I mean, hey, I wouldn't be mad at it, to be honest. That'd be like a cool twist. Purple Nurple. Huh? Yeah. So, another theory is that I was cooking up for like a while. This kind of, it felt stupid to me. But since I'm talking now, I might as well bring it up. In the TVA, like, I think it was like season 2. Well, not season, well, it is season 2. The very last episode of Loki. Well, one of them episodes of Loki, I don't remember which episode or what season it was, but it was Morbius talking to Loki, and Morbius was telling a story about him and Ramona. I think it was Ramona Renslayer. I don't know. I can't remember the fucking name. Well, Kang's love interest. They was out doing a mission, right? And they had to phone a little 8-year-old boy. Because I guess they looked into his future and he was gonna be like a mass, I don't know, like mass murderer. I think that's how they put it. I don't think it's like a murderer, but he was gonna, you know, commit some crimes later on in life when he got older. So they pulled him from the timeline just because of what he was gonna do. And I think that they could use that part from Loki and be like, that was Doom. But they failed to actually like prune him, and he grew older to resent the TVA, and that's how he come to power. Yeah, let's get back on TVA and Doomsday.
That destiny. In this scenario, Doom and Tony are parallel outcomes of the same origin. One raised by the Starks becomes Iron Man. The other, born or raised elsewhere, becomes Doom. That would explain why a multiversal Doom could arrive in Earth 616.
But that don't really explain why Doom looked like Tony. That don't explain it. Unless he explain, like, give out a reason or something. I don't really see how they can explain that they're supposed to be twin brothers. I guess I don't see it. If we're going off the scene from Endgame.
Ask a horrifying question. Why do you have my face? Why are you Iron Man in this universe? It would also reframe Tony and Howard's strained relationship. If Tony was adopted and either knew or subconsciously sensed it, that distance suddenly makes a lot more sense. Even Tony's confusion during the Endgame scene becomes retroactively meaningful. Nothing here is confirmed, but Marvel loves hiding massive reveals inside throwaway lines and uncomfortable pauses. And if Avengers Doomsday is about confronting who should have existed, then Tony Stark being adopted isn't just a twist. It's the foundation for Doom's rage. Rune King Thor, one of the most convincing of—
I can see this happening. I can see this happening. From the Doomsday trailer that they dropped, I can see that happening. He getting his power from the All-Father. Yeah, I can see this happening.
Avengers Doomsday Theories isn't about Doom at all. It's about Thor's endgame. The idea is simple. Avengers Doomsday transforms Thor into Rune King Thor, and Avengers Secret Wars is where his story finally ends. The groundwork for this has been hiding in plain sight since Thor Ragnarok. When Odin tells Thor, even when you had 2 eyes, you'd only see half the picture. It's more than a throwaway line. In Norse mythology, Odin sacrifices his eye to gain wisdom, and in Marvel Comics, Rune King Thor follows a similar path. Sacrificing everything.
Get out of my head, bro. Because I was just finna pause and be like, but in the comics, he gave away. He finna explain
to understand the runes that govern reality itself. Odin's death isn't just emotional, it's a narrative handoff. From there, Thor's journey has been about stripping away false power. In Ragnarok, he learns that godhood comes from within. In Avengers Infinity War and Avengers Endgame, he collapses under failure and grief. Then in Thor Love and Thunder, he confronts his self-worth and redefines what it means to be a god. Not a conqueror, but a protector. Even the ending matters. Thor's daughter is literally named Love, symbolizing sacrifice, humility, and legacy, all prerequisites for ascension in the comics. Rune King Thor doesn't rise by conquering, he rises by losing everything. There's also visual foreshadowing. In Avengers Age of Ultron, Thor's vision includes the Norns, Yggdrasil, and cosmic imagery tied directly to the rune path. At the time, it felt abstract. Now it looks intentional. And if God Emperor Doom is truly the threat of Secret Wars, the Avengers will need something more than raw strength. Rune King Thor exists on a level beyond gods, a being who understands the rules of reality itself. Even Marvel's own leadership has hinted at this direction. Kevin Feige has called Thor a unique case, the only MCU character to survive multiple reinventions. Rune King Thor isn't a departure from that pattern. It's the natural conclusion. If Doomsday is about escalation, then Rune King Thor isn't fan service. He's necessity. And if Secret Wars is the end, Thor doesn't fall. He ascends. Doom is removed from Fantastic Four.
He explained that well. I like that one. Doom is removed from Fantastic Four. I can see that. I can see that happen. They take him out. Just I can see that.
One of the most haunting Avengers Doomsday theories comes from a fan-made edit that reframes Doctor Doom not as a villain who lost, but as one who was written out of existence. In the edit, a wounded Reed Richards, played by Pedro Pascal, faces Doom, who delivers a chilling line. "I was there until you decided I wasn't. You didn't defeat me. You revised reality." And that one sentence changed one who was one of the most haunting Avengers Doomsday theories comes from a fan-made edit that reframes Doctor Doom not as a villain who lost, but as one who was written out of existence. In the edit, a wounded Reed Richards, played by Pedro Pascal, faces Doom, who delivers a chilling line. "I was there until you decided I wasn't. You didn't defeat me. You revised reality." And that one sentence changes everything. The theory suggests that during the events of Fantastic Four, Doctor Doom was not only present but pivotal. Something went wrong, bad enough that Reed Richards made the ultimate decision. Instead of stopping Doom, he removed him from the timeline entirely. Not killed, not imprisoned, erased. That would instantly explain Doom's obsession with Reed. In this version, Doom isn't motivated by jealousy or ego alone. He's driven by the trauma of being unmade, of knowing he existed, mattered, and was then deliberately deleted by the one man who claimed to be a hero. This theory fits disturbingly well with the MCU's current direction. From Loki to No Way Home to Multiverse of Madness, Marvel has repeatedly established that rewriting reality doesn't erase consequences. People remember.
I mean, it do fit into what's happening, but Reed writing him out of reality, I don't see that happen. Reed couldn't even defeat Galactus, for real. He barely did it. So I don't think he's rewriting anybody out of existence if he couldn't if that was the case, he would have rewritten Galactus out of existence. But if he would have did that, that would have been detrimental to the universe of their universe. So yeah, I don't see that happening.
Timelines bleed, and beings who are removed don't always stay gone. If Doom was erased through reality revision, then Avengers Doomsday isn't about conquest, it's about retribution. Doom isn't trying to destroy the world, he's trying to restore himself and punish the man who decided he shouldn't exist. It also recontextualizes Doom as something far more dangerous than—
And that's like, you just, well, it's like flipping Reed and Doom. I mean, I can see Doom trying to rewrite Reed out of existence. But Reed doing it to Doom, I just feel like that should just be flipped. If anything, that could be flipped. Doom doing that to Reed. I just don't see it. Reed doing that to Doom at all. If anything, he would just defeat him and send him on his way. Yeah, I just
a standard MCU villain. He wouldn't just be powerful, he'd be proof that even Reed Richards can play God, and that gods make enemies when they rewrite the universe. And if Doom remembers the old reality, who else might? Trailer timestamps. One of the wildest Avengers Doomsday theories right now isn't about variants, villains,
this is the one I've been asking every teaser trailer. What the fuck does that mean?
Or cameos. It's about time codes.
But from what I've been watching on YouTube, some people have been using them timestamps and be like, the one bird 20, the stuff I was asking about, they put it into the in-game timestamps and it come out to scenes from the movie. And some of the scenes, I was sitting there like, damn, hold on. That make a lot of sense. Like, a lot. And I like that. But I think he's going to explain it and show the scenes that I'm talking about. So,
according to the Russo brothers, those short Avengers Doomsday trailers we've been getting, they're not actually trailers at all. They're clues, and fans think they've cracked the code. At the very end of each Doomsday teaser, just before the countdown appears, a strange sequence of numbers flashes on screen. At first glance, they look like dates, but when you look closer, they line up perfectly as timestamps. And when you apply those timestamps to Avengers Endgame, something very interesting happens. Take the Steve Rogers focused teaser. The numbers shown are 124:20. If you jump to exactly 1 hour, 24 minutes, and 20 seconds into Endgame, you land on a crucial moment. The Ancient One explaining branch timelines to Bruce Banner. It's the scene that establishes how messing with time doesn't fix reality. It fractures it. Then there's Thor's teaser. Its code 11720 takes you to the moment where Loki shapeshifts into Captain America. A scene that's playful on the surface, but thematically tied to identity, deception, and multiversal chaos. The X-Men themed teaser pushes this even further. It's timestamp 11120 lands on Rocket telling Thor that he still has something worth fighting for, that he can help save his family. Thor. It's a moment about second chances, lost worlds, and refusing to give up after failure. And finally, timestamp 1 hour 4 minutes 20 seconds points to Rocket asking Ant-Man if he wants to go to space. A small, almost throwaway moment, but one that represents the beginning of the time heist, the moment the Avengers truly commit to breaking reality to fix it. Individually, these scenes seem random, but together, they tell a very specific story. They're all moments where the Avengers justify rewriting the universe. Moments where they decide that bending reality is acceptable, as long as the outcome feels right. Which brings this theory back to Doomsday. If the Avengers have spent years correcting timelines, pruning outcomes, and deciding which realities are allowed to exist, then Avengers Doomsday may not be about stopping a villain at all. It may be about facing the consequences of those decisions. Because what happens when someone like Doom realizes they were one of the outcomes that got erased? Marvel loves hiding its future inside its past. And if these trailers really are coordinates pointing back to Endgame, then Doomsday isn't moving the story forward. It's calling the Avengers out for what they already did. And that makes this theory terrifyingly plausible. Wonder Man theory. There's a very specific reason
before we get to Wonder Man, they supposed to be re-releasing Endgame before Doomsday, right? So I feel like they're gonna throw like a scene at the end, you know, when Cap go back in time to go dance with Peggy. I feel like it's gonna cut to black and we're gonna hear somebody walk walking up some steps. Like, and then you hear him knock. Then it cuts back on. Bam. So Cap and them walk up to the door. He opened it, and it's Doom at the door. You be like, Steve Rogers, need to talk. Cut off. Roll credits. Oh, boy, would I be cooking up in his brain? It probably, the shit probably ass, but like, the shit I be thinking about sometimes, boy.
The MCU is introducing a brand new superhero right before Avengers Doomsday, and it's not coincidence. Marvel doesn't add deep-cut characters this late in the game unless they serve a purpose, and Wonder Man may be here to make one controversial idea feel possible. Because if Victor Von Doom is going to appear wearing the face of Tony Stark, Marvel needs narrative groundwork, and Wonder Man provides it. Marvel Television's Wonder Man introduces Simon Williams, a character whose comic history quietly overlaps with Stark Industries.
I don't know much about Wonder Man for real. I think I'm finna go read the Marvel Encyclopedia. I think I'm finna go read the Marvel Encyclopedia. Marvel Encyclopedia. I can't say that word for some reason. Do it look like I'm off? Yeah.
The idea that identity can be copied, repurposed, or stolen. In the comics, Simon runs a company that directly competes with Stark Industries, placing him in the same legacy-driven space Tony Stark once dominated. Simon gains his powers through experiments conducted by Baron Zemo, transforming his body into living ionic energy. He doesn't age, doesn't need food or air, and can reform no matter what happens to him. His identity isn't tied to a normal human body, which is exactly the kind of concept the MCU needs right now. That timing becomes even more suspicious when you look at where Wonder Man lands in the slate. He's debuting the same year as Vision Quest, following WandaVision and Agatha all along. That trilogy isn't really about magic, it's about what makes someone real. In the comics, Ultron uses Wonder Man's brain patterns to help create Vision, not his memories, his patterns. Afterward, Simon is left mentally broken, knowing part of him lives inside someone else. Later, Wanda even asks to reuse those patterns to rebuild Vision. That's the key idea. If Doom wears Tony Stark's face, the question isn't how. It's whether identity is still sacred once it becomes data. Wonder Man quietly answers that question before Doomsday ever asks it. And if Doom is about to weaponize Stark's legacy, then Wonder Man isn't a random addition. He's proof that in the MCU, faces, minds, and legacies can be reused. Once that door is open, Doom walking through it feels inevitable. Doomsday already happened. There's a growing theory that
seen this, and it's kind of clean, bro. We're just, oh my god, the Doomsday Clock is just a countdown of us watching Doom destroy everything. Doomsday already happened. Oh, please talk about this. I want to know more about this. I don't know the theory, but I heard it. I was like, ooh, that's kind of clean if that happens.
the Doomsday Clock we keep seeing isn't counting toward Avengers Doomsday, because Doomsday already happened. The key comes from the Russo brothers themselves. They've said that the Doomsday footage released so far aren't trailers or teasers. They're stories and clues. And once you take that seriously, the countdown starts to look very different. Because what if Avengers Doomsday isn't unfolding in real time? What if we're seeing everything from Loki's point of view? At the end of Loki, Loki doesn't just save the multiverse, he becomes its anchor. Sitting at the center of all timelines, Loki can see the past, the present, and every possible future simultaneously. He exists outside linear time, much like He Who Remains once did. So if Loki can see everything at once, then the Doomsday Clock isn't counting down to an event, it's counting down to finality. In this theory, Doomsday has already occurred from Loki's perspective. Doom has already won. What we're watching are the ripple effects, timelines being rewritten, pruned, adjusted, as Loki desperately tries to change the outcome before it becomes permanent. That's what the countdown represents. Not the start of Doomsday, but the last moment when reality is still editable. Once the timer hits 0, the timeline locks. No more pruning, no more revisions, no more saving the world. When Doomsday is revealed to the universe, it's already too late. The damage is set in stone, which means
that's clean. That's clean. That's clean. I like this. I like this. I like this. I like this one.
Avengers Doomsday isn't about stopping the apocalypse. It's about watching the last failed attempt to undo it. And if that's true, then the most terrifying part isn't Doom winning. It's that even Loki, the god of time, couldn't stop it. Loki's plan. If Avengers...
That's clean. I might put that into my theory bag. Yeah. I'm taking that. That's, oh my god, I like that one.
Avengers Doomsday is truly unwinnable head-on, then Loki's only option isn't strength, it's scale. The theory is that Loki's entire plan to stop Doom isn't to outfight him, it's to outnumber him. By the end of Loki, Loki isn't just holding the multiverse together, he becomes the god of stories, a being who understands every timeline at once. And there's a Marvel comic that may quietly reveal what that power is actually for. In the comic run Avengers Forever, we're introduced to Avenger Prime, a Loki variant whose job is to protect the multiverse itself. In that story, Loki faces Doom Supreme, a version of Doctor Doom trying to rewrite all existence in his own image. And here's the important part, they don't fight alone. Both Loki and Doom assemble multiversal armies. Loki recruits a fractured Avengers team pulled from across realities, multiple Captain Americas, including Captain Carter, an old man Logan empowered by the Phoenix Force, a cosmic Black Panther, and even the Infinity Thing, a version of the Thing made entirely from Infinity Stones. Doom Supreme responds with his own multiversal force, variants of Thanos, Killmonger, and a Doom army drawn from conquered timelines. That parallel is hard to—
Killmonger? Why he look like a Sentinels from the X-Men movie? Look back.
From Infinity Stones. Doom army drawn from conquered timeline. Drawn from Killmonger, and
he look like a Sentinel.
The Doom army drawn from conquered timelines. That parallel is hard to ignore. So the theory is that Doomsday adapts this structure. Loki doesn't face Doom as a lone god at the center of the multiverse. He recruits every surviving version of the Avengers he can find, not to win cleanly, but to buy time, delay the inevitable, and challenge Doom on every front at once. It would explain why Doomsday feels less like a traditional Avengers movie and more like a collision of realities. It also fits Marvel's current direction. Fewer standalone heroes, more variants, and wars fought across timelines instead of cities. In this version of the story, Loki isn't the trickster anymore. He's the general. Doomsday isn't about one final battle. It's about whether the multiverse can survive its own last stand. It's Cap's fault. One of the strange—
Yeah, it is. You ain't gotta go over this. It is. But I gotta read Avengers. Oh my god, I got so much to read. I'm reading the whole Jonathan Hickman's Secret Wars, you know, his whole everything from the beginning to the end. I'm reading that right now. I gotta add Avengers Forever because I want to know how that ends, how that play out. Or I just might watch a YouTube video on it. I don't know. But Cap, it's Cap's fault. He want to go back and beat Peggy Bonds instead of just returning the stones and live your life in the modern day. I get your baby girl left you. She died. You want to get stuck in the ice because you want to be captain. I'm gonna get into that.
But most interesting Avengers Doomsday theories suggest that Doctor Doom doesn't think he's the villain at all. He thinks he's fixing a mistake. We already know that Robert Downey Jr. is returning to the MCU as Doctor—
Man, if you really think about it, Doom isn't a villain, but he is a villain. You know, he get it done. Pretty much, he gets stuff done. And in this scenario, I wouldn't see Doom as the villain until he started killing people, wrongfully killing people. Right now, it's Cap's fault.
Doom. And according to this theory, Doom's rage isn't random, it's personal, and it all goes back to Captain America. At the end of Avengers Endgame, Steve Rogers stays in the past to live a full life, eventually returning as an old man. On the surface, it's a perfect ending, but multiverse logic makes it messy. By staying behind, Steve creates branch timelines. And depending on how you interpret the rules, that means multiple versions of Captain America now exist across reality. Timelines overlapping, colliding, and destabilizing each other. In Marvel lore, an incursion happens when two universes occupy the same space.
Let Reed Richards say it.
An incursion occurs when the boundary between two universes erodes, destroying one or both entirely.
According to this theory, Doom believes Captain America caused an incursion by disrupting the natural flow of time. And instead of seeing himself as a tyrant, Doom sees himself as the only one willing to act. In this version of the story, Doom goes back into the multiverse not to conquer, but to remove the variable. Captain America isn't a symbol of hope to him. He's a threat, a living paradox that triggered Doomsday in the first place. That reframes everything. Doom isn't angry because the Avengers failed. He's angry because they celebrated the mistake. And if Doom truly believes he's saving reality, reality, if he thinks the Avengers are too sentimental to do what's necessary, Doomsday becomes a moral war, not a heroic one. Because what if Doom is right? What if Doomsday didn't begin with the villain, but with a hero who refused to let go? That's 14 minutes. Thank you for watching. Like the video, and don't forget to subscribe for more flops.
It was more than 14 minutes.
Tony Stark was adopted. One Avengers.
That's a great video. I like that. I like that. I like that for sure. It gave me some more theories to think about and like flesh out in my brain. But it also spoke on the ones that I always see and hear about and like break it down to me. I appreciate this video flop. Yeah. That's the end of that video. Well, that's the end of this video. I love y'all. Appreciate y'all for watching. Make sure you hit the like, comment, subscribe. But make sure you hit the like button. I hope you subscribe. What? Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Hit the notification bell so you know when I post another video. And yeah, see y'all boys in another video. Peace.
Swear to God, I gotta get my shit together. Young nigga known around these parts, I can pop my shit wherever. I'm walking with God in these Dior's, used to dance with the devil. Young nigga, it takes some sacrifice to make it to this level. Yeah, I put in that work, nigga, I ain't cry about it.